Tyrone Medley was the first African American to be appointed as a judge in Utah. But his beginnings started in Camden, New Jersey, and involve an unlikely connection to the University of Utah and time on a different court, the basketball kind.
I was raised in a very positive environment in Camden. There was hardly ever any drama in my household. I always had a roof over my head. I didn't have to worry about food to eat or any other type of drama, and I think that played an important role in my personal stability.
Tyrone has always been motivated by a challenge. It began with playing basketball.
And I actually accepted a challenge from another kid in the neighborhood who was already on the team, who told me I couldn't make the high school basketball team. One of the fastest ways to motivate me is to tell me I can't do something. I fell in love with it. Towards the end of my senior year, I was recruited by Temple, and I had received what I believed to be a verbal offer to attend Temple. So I basically shut everything else down, and they took another kid in the same conference we played in.
Without a scholarship offer, good friends in his community went to work finding one.
His name was Charles Davis. Him and one of his friends in Philadelphia would help kids get placed. He reached out to his friend who knew someone who was a graduate assistant here at the U, and a week later I had a letter offering what I believed to be a 4-year scholarship to come to the U and play basketball. Sight unseen, I jumped on a plane and came here. I've been accused of, when I was younger, of being an old soul, so to speak, and I think that came from the fact that I had a tendency always to look long-term. Athletics to me was always an option and opportunity to get my education and secure some long-term future.
Campus-wide, he was a mentor. He was a resource for the campus community. He was the North Star for all the kids from the inner city coming here. I was surprised how humble and kind he was.
By the end of his playing days at the U, Tyrone faced a difficult choice: go on to the NBA or accept a position at the U's S.J. Quinney Law School.
I was interviewed by the dean of the law school at the time, Dean Sam Thurman. And the way I understood my interview with him is that he was giving me a choice to either be a law student or was I going to go do something else.
Once again, he took the long view and chose law school, but not without some second thoughts.
When I went up to see what grade I got at the end of the week, it was not a grade that I was accustomed to having, and I was actually shaken because it was the first time that I had really applied myself and had not succeeded. I had a good conversation with myself. And there was a good portion of me that thought, this was a mistake. And then, the competitive part of me kicked in. If I was going to lose, if I was going to get beat, I wasn't going to get beat at the end of 1 week.
He's just a fighter, and he refuses to see things in a negative way. He always figures out how to be a winner.
After years in private practice, Judge Medley's long view paid off with his appointment to the Utah bench.
When I was first appointed to the bench, I wasn't thinking of it in terms of I was making history. When the media exposure happened, it threw me off. I was proud about the accomplishment, but at the same time, it wasn't something I was focused on.
Making history as the first Black judge in Utah didn't come without some very misguided detractors.
I received a couple of letters, handwritten letters, that referred to me in a very negative fashion. I don't think you grow up to reach my age as an African-American male in this state, in this country, and not encounter those types of obstacles along the way. So while I had those experiences at the same time, and this, I guess, is the competitive part of me, you weren't going to defeat me with those experiences. If I was going to lose, or not succeed. It wasn't going to be because of that kind of nonsense.
Judge Tyrone Medley presided over thousands of cases in nearly 30 years on the bench. He epitomized a good judge, conscientious, polite, and hardworking.
I know he feel weird about accepting this award because he does a lot and he wanted to go unnoticed. But I think with the impact he's had in this community, that it's hard for that to happen. I mean, people really appreciate him and what he's done and what he stands for.
He is a man who simply never gave up.